Dana Plato, the charming girl next door from Different Strokes. To millions, she was the picture of perfection, sweet, innocent, and full of promise. The kind of daughter every parent dreamed of having. But behind that familiar smile was a life spiraling out of control, marked by heartbreak, addiction, and betrayal. What unfolded after the cameras stopped rolling would shock everyone. A tragic descent from fame to infamy, ending in a way that shattered the image of television's beloved darling. Born in 1964, Dana was adopted as a baby and raised in suburban California. Her adoptive mother was devoted, determined to turn Dana's talent into success. By the time she was 14, she'd landed the role of Kimberly Drummond in Different Strokes, one of the biggest sitcoms on television. Overnight, she became a star. But the glittering world she stepped into was far from safe. The immense pressure of fame, coupled with a complicated relationship with her mother, left her without the guidance and stability every child needs. When the show ended, the cracks began to show. When Different Strokes was canceled in 1986, Dana's life fell apart almost immediately. She was a young mother, something producers had hidden to protect her image, and now she found herself typecast and unemployable. Hollywood had no more use for her. Desperation crept in, and with it came drugs and alcohol. The girl who had once represented purity and charm was now drowning in addiction, trying to hold on to a life that fame had already taken away. By the early 1990s, her downfall had reached its breaking point. In 1991, in a moment of hopelessness, Dana walked into a video store in Las Vegas and held it up with a pellet gun, taking only 164. The robbery made national headlines. America's sweetheart turned criminal. She was arrested, humiliated, and sentenced to probation. But that was only the beginning of her troubles. A year later, she was caught forging prescriptions for Valium and served time in prison. For the world that once adored her, the image of Kimberly Drummond behind bars was almost too painful to comprehend. After her release, things only got worse. The acting offers were gone. The only roles she could find were in low-budget movies and adult films, a cruel reflection of how far she had fallen from her wholesome sitcom beginnings. In 1999, seeking to confront her past, Dana appeared on The Howard Stern Show. She tried to sound hopeful, but her voice was filled with exhaustion. Just 2 days later, while visiting her fiancé in Oklahoma, she took her own life with an overdose of painkillers. She was only 34 years old. The tragedy was undeniable. The once radiant child star, consumed by the very fame that had created her, Dana's story became the most haunting example of the child star curse. It exposed the dark truth about Hollywood's treatment of its youngest talents, how they're adored, exploited, and then discarded once the spotlight fades. Her pain didn't end with her. Her son, Tyler Lambert, took his own life in 2010, echoing the heartbreak of his mother's fate. Dana Plato's legacy isn't just the laughter she brought to living rooms across America. It's the warning her story carries. A story about how fragile fame can be and how deeply it can wound the ones who experience it too young. She wasn't just a fallen star. She was a human being who needed help long before the applause stopped.